As the weather in the valley starts to heat up, it's important to ensure your home's HVAC units are ready for the season ahead.
Here to share tips and tricks is Matthew Mims, lead estimator with Bob's Repair. Welcome back.
Hi guys, thank you. Good for having me. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. So what are some common issues? We know as the seasons change, different concerns start to happen in the home. So what are we looking at for this season?
Yeah, I mean, just like weather dependent, those first couple of hot weeks we get in Vegas, it's a big influx of customers, and your systems have just been sitting around for 6 months not being used. So you go to kick it on for the first time and it just doesn't blow cold air or doesn't work at all. So that's 90% of the calls that we get is just people turning on and it's not working. So we get pretty popular during that first hot week, like last week.
Winter was kind of long this season, I feel like.
You guys just don't know what winter is.
Oh yeah, Chicago.
Guys, that's not winter. It really isn't winter. With that in mind, you mentioned you get those calls. It's typical, it's almost like I'm sure you guys sit in the office and you're like, that call's going to be the HVAC's not kicking on. So do you have any tips or tricks for our viewers at home for how they can prevent that? Obviously they need to call you for service and stuff, but is there anything they can do to prepare for the heat up for summer and spring?
Yeah, they use basic stuff you can do, like you're changing your thermostat settings, because wintertime it's been set for one way. So during the summertime you can go in there and change your settings where people leave their home and they let their house get really hot, and then they get back home and they turn on, it runs all day to get cool. Leave it at a certain temperature that you're comfortable with, leave it there all day. That'll help the system to work consistently. Change your air filters, that's your oil change for your HVAC system. And then at that point, have a turned on when it's not horribly hot out, so you can test if it's working, and then if it's not, you can have it looked at versus like a dire situation. So to keep an eye on it, have someone come out and actually look at it. So little things like that make a difference.
Good advice.
Yeah. Well, energy efficiency is something that more and more people are starting to say, hey, we need to keep this in mind for our home. Do you have any tips for that?
Yeah, I mean, anything for that. Well, one, with new equipment, like once you get new equipment, much more efficient, better stuff when you're compared to your original equipment there now. But even for the home itself, you can do things to help your house be more energy efficient so you're not cooling off Las Vegas. Put tinting on windows, blackout drapes, insulation, things like that to keep your house more controlled. And then your HVAC system, when you do replace it or do something with it, it'll work better for you when that comes to be. So.
Talking of replacing an HVAC, obviously there's things to do to, there might be maintenance needs to be done, but if it does come to replacing the HVAC, what are things that people should be mindful of when considering a new HVAC system? Should they be? Are there any advancements in technology? Are there any things that to keep in mind when picking out the right system?
Yeah. There's, because I'm the one who does all that for the company. So when I come out, we look at a few different factors, which like first thing is like the size of the system. Has it been doing what it should be doing for you when it's working? Is it the right size to cool the home? Which if that is the case, then great. And then we look at like a certain manufacturer that you want to use, like using trusted brands that have been around for a long time. So like we use Train equipment. They've been around forever and they make really good units. And then the efficiency, which is like the dictator of the biggest price difference between units. So the higher the efficiency goes, the different type of equipment it'll be, and obviously the cheaper it'll be to run it when you're doing it. But all those pieces, come together and can give you a bunch of different options to pick. So not one thing is better for one house than another house. We try to make it particular to each person. There's no blanket piece that works for everyone. Yeah. You try to make it dictate each person and feed them specifically. So it's a little bit of work, but it's worth it because it can make a big difference in your house. So.
Well, sustainability is becoming a larger concern as well for people in their homes, and we know that solar is something that people are looking forward to and towards. So do you have any sort of estimates, or what do you guys do when it comes to solar? Yeah,
solar's been a huge piece, obviously more so recently. Vegas is one of the sunniest places in the country, so solar is pretty active here. It's hard to not make solar make sense for most customers, so you can have it done in conjunction with HVAC too, and then we give you free solar quotes as well to have them look at it and say, hey, here's what it takes to be put on my roof, and here's what we need for the house. And it's not super difficult, so it's worth taking a peek at and see if it makes sense for you financially too. So.
Matthew, thank you so much for coming in. It's always great to hear from you, and you always have some great tips for our viewers at home, as well as being the right guys to call for services and for repairs and maintenance. So if you do need to do that, for more information, head to bobsrepair.com.